is heavy friending. I'm friending you so hard. An alliance slowly forming like a boner in my heart. So if you wanna fucking friend me, better give me all you got. No, I don't take this lightly, cause it's heavy, heavy friending.
There is an eagle flying. Yeah!
Hey, heavy frienders, it's Laura Lee Bishop here. I'm sitting with Joe Barlow.
Hi.
How you doing? You good?
Oh, look at my posture.
It's laid back. It's
Laid
relaxed.
back. Thank
it's
you.
relaxed.
Thank you for noticing.
Are you ready for South by Southwest?
Yeah.
You gonna go to any good shows?
Well, I know you have a show.
Mm-hmm. You gonna go?
I don't know if I'll get in.
You will. It's actually open to the public now. They just announced today it's the free South by Southwest Spotlight show, which is a big deal.
So yeah, it seems like I wouldn't get in though if everyone's going to go now. And
Well, go early.
well,
Yeah, you can do it.
like wait in a line.
If you don't go,
What day is
I'm
that?
going to be actually
What day?
mad at you. It's on Monday.
Oh, a Monday.
Yeah.
That's a school night.
But you don't go to school, so it's okay.
Well, I work hard.
But you've told me you kind of make your own hours too. So
Well, I did. Don't let anyone hear that.
that's what I heard. Word on the street.
Folks, you're listening to a fun little chat. It's a chat podcast.
It is a chat podcast.
Mostly. I mean, occasionally we do physical feats
That's
of endurance.
true. That's true. We have interviews sometimes.
Yeah. And but mostly it's just a happy discussion.
Yeah. Are you happy?
Well, sometimes it's just a discussion.
Yeah, sometimes it's an angry discussion. It's a discussion nonetheless, though. And that's what's going on in this country right now is we can't even fucking talk to each other anymore. We can't even fucking have a conversation anymore.
Yeah.
Here's some hot points for me today.
I'd love some.
Michael Jackson, gross.
What?
What the fuck? Wedgies. Pull them out of your butt. Why do you leave them in there? You know what I'm saying? Pull your wedgie out. That's the second thing that I want to talk about. Third, retail people. Leave me the fuck alone when I'm trying to shop. Fourth, the environment. You know?
had all these just in your head.
Just now. Yeah. This is what's going on in our society. We're all thinking about 100 fucking things at once because it's all fucking terrible.
Interesting. Wedgies was not top of the mind. I will say,
For me, always.
Michael Jackson. So here's a question.
Yeah.
Because some countries or maybe not countries, but some radio stations
Okay.
are banning.
From countries
They're not
to radio stations.
They're not playing his music anymore.
Yeah.
So what? I mean, where do you stand as a musical artist?
There was a time when I could. Well, I never at any point was like he's innocent. I always thought he was a child molester. I always thought he was disgusting.
And you thought that made his music cooler.
No, did not.
Ooh,
And,
bad comment.
okay, who is that? Number one, is there a ghost in here? Because there's a person speaking that I have not introduced yet.
I'm sorry, I could not keep my mouth shut with that comment.
That
Okay.
comment was out of line, and I was testing everyone.
Okay, we passed, right?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. No, it's disgusting because before I could separate it I couldn't separate it, but I could hear his music and be like, this is a good song, you know? And that music is a big part of my music too, you know? Michael Jackson's Bad and like Thriller, those are like big inspirations for me. But after watching this documentary, and I've seen the Martin,
I haven't seen it.
I've seen the Martin Bashir one that they did like several years ago when he went around with him, the one that was like living with Michael Jackson.
That was on ABC, wasn't that on
Oh my God,
TV?
it was so good. That one was great. That was when he was like asked him point blank about his fucking plastic surgery, and he said like, I think I've had two surgeries on my nose because I had a deviated septum and things like that. And like anytime he would ask him, he said, it's puberty. People go through puberty, Martin. You know, and that's when he was holding hands with a little boy. Anyway, I saw all that. But in this
Do you
documentary...
do a Martin Bashir impression, by the way?
I'm not doing
Okay.
that one.
Oh,
Not.
Oh, I don't know how he sounds. I was just thought your Michael was good.
Did you?
I thought it was, well...
It's so
it had
bad.
a fun
It's good.
spirit.
Yeah.
He's kind of playful.
It painted him in a fun light,
Yeah,
right? And that's what I
yeah.
want to do. No, after watching this documentary, the descriptions of what he did are very specific. So specific that you can paint a real detailed picture in your head. And now I just can't. Now I'm fucking done. Like, I don't
can't.
even think I could listen to Thriller again and enjoy it. Even though when I was a kid, my mom used to drive me to the intermediate school. That was like third, fourth, fifth grade. So probably like around third, fourth grade. I used to have her play Thriller all the time.
You would
and
have
I
your
wouldn't-
mom play that.
in the car.
Okay,
Yeah. And I
interesting.
wouldn't get out of the car until the song was done. You know, I remember Vincent Price doing that voiceover on the Thriller song, and I would like want to stay in the car until that was over because I loved that album so much.
Spooky.
It was fun. You know,
It's
when you're a
spooky and
kid,
fun.
Michael Jackson is great for kids. It's just like fun music. But my mom had a Michael Jackson CD. She had the one where his eyes are on the cover and it's like gold around his eyes. And I remember when I was little, I was fascinated with the cover, and I was probably like really little, like first grade. And she would say, "Don't look at that. He's bad. He's a bad man." But
Well,
she like
he had a
owned the-
song called
she owned
Bad,
the CD.
so that's probably what she meant.
That's maybe what it was.
Yeah.
He's bad.
He is a bad. Who's bad? My dad had Off the Wall and on vinyl, and
Yeah.
I'd come home and crank that on and do some moves.
Yeah, we all moved.
It was beautiful.
And it's sad that that's ruined now. A lot of things are ruined for us.
I think it's hard though, because I do think there are certain people, like with Bill Cosby. Like I have a few of his albums.
Yeah.
But I can't. There's no way I could listen to them because it's just him talking as Bill Cosby. Like there's
Yeah.
no separation between.
Right.
I could see it a little more if it's an artist
Mr.
or
Huxtable.
if it's someone who worked on a movie, like maybe, Kevin Spacey is
Right.
not the star, and a bunch of other great people
Right.
worked on it, so it's kind of hard to like. So it is like I feel like it's not just if someone's horrible, you can't. I think there's
Yeah.
degrees
Yeah,
for me.
it's hard. It's hard. And with that, I think
With
it's
that.
time to introduce our guest.
Well, we've sort of heard her voice,
We've heard her voice, but
and we've also heard about maybe a car scenario.
ride with this person.
Yeah,
Yeah, one of many.
and I just want to know who's bad.
Who's bad?
I am.
Listeners, my mother, Karen DiBiase Bishop,
Oh, is that how you say it?
DiBiase, is on the podcast, and we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, now you're saying,
Who's bad?
who's bad? When we come back from break, we're going to really get into it. You want to take us to break? Say something like, take us to break, Mom.
It's break time.
Whoa! Actually, that was
that's
cooler
like a song.
than we do.
It's break time.
Who's bad?
Who's bad?
Can you tell me, Mom?
Love it. Love it.
Felt weird.
It felt good to me.
Can you tell me about Laura as a little wee child?
Laura.
tell us.
Oh, I will spill the beans. Laura was always extremely entertaining and funny. Always just a joy. And I'm not. She woke up in the morning happy for the day. She was wonderful, and she really did love to entertain. At a young age, I noticed that she loved to sing, and I thought she had a good voice, but I'm not trained in that, so I just thought it was a mom thinking she had a good voice. But I did take her to a voice teacher who confirmed that she was phenomenal, and took her on as a student, and the rest is history. But she was always,
She was confident, a performer.
yes,
she was
Laura,
comfortable getting
I can
up.
remember a time when we were at Newark International Airport leaving because we were coming back to Texas, and we had a little delay in the flight, and this is when everybody could go back. This was before security was tight, so my mom and sisters were there with us waiting, and Laura just decided to entertain, got in the middle of, the little walkway there, and the next thing you know, she had a crowd around her, and she was singing and dancing and
I was busking.
making
bills.
jokes, and everyone was clapping, and
I had a old bucket. I was banging on it with some drumsticks.
Oh, everyone wants that at an airport.
So she was always wanting to entertain. So I'm not surprised that that's what she likes to do now. And she would always love a camera on her, and I have a lot of video that I should show you one day, Joe.
I'd love to
of her
see it.
dancing to music, which is quite fun to watch.
That'd be a good Patreon exclusive, really.
Oh
Actually,
my God,
that's
it
true.
would be, because
Yeah.
if you see this dancing, you will be in hysterics. This girl really let the music
Just
move her.
such a natural rhythm, and my body was one really with
With
the
the
sounds. With the sounds,
She really got into it. That's why it's very interesting to watch. But I will also say this about
Interesting.
Laura. She never really gave me that much trouble, even through the teenage years. She was pretty good. So she was a good kid to raise. She made my job easy.
And as a child, was she fascinated with certain anatomical parts of the human body?
Not as much as she is right now on this
Okay.
show, okay?
All right.
Interesting.
Because I do listen to the podcasts and some of the things that I hear.
Well, why does
What
she?
is it
She
you hear?
brings up.
Well, the things that you guys talk about sometimes.
Don't say
as a
God, you
mom,
guys
when you
say-
hear your daughter saying these things,
She's
you have
sick.
to cringe
What do I
just a
say?
little bit. I'm not repeating them.
Well, it's butthole stuff, and I'll say it
See,
because
he brings it up. That's
Oh,
what I'm trying to say. It's not always
She
me.
titled an episode something about
I
a
know,
butthole. Like,
believe
I don't
We were trying
title
to
them.
do something bold. We were
All
trying
I
to
know
change
is-
this country.
All I know
We
is
talked about
Is
this.
that the most
It's-
ashamed you've been of your daughter? Is this butthole business?
I've never been ashamed of my daughter. Let's just put that right out
Well,
there.
this is a
Take that
perfect
to the
opportunity.
bank. You take that to the bank.
All right, okay.
Never.
Well,
But I will
sounds like we
say,
need to push
and
the
it's
boundaries more.
it's generational. You know, it's a generational thing. Because
well, we're the butthole
Being
generation.
Like
there's
as
just
a butthole could
listen,
be.
there's just things that, with the way that I was raised, are just things that you don't.
Yeah, but don't you think it's so
say.
stupid? Like everyone has one. Why are we walking around hiding it?
Mm-hmm.
Put it out on display. Yes, I'd love that.
Well, you're
Michael, get out of here. Leave.
Please leave.
Please. You, though, are anti-wedgie, which could showcase a butthole.
Here we go.
It
And I'm going to be
showcase-
in this podcast.
But
really?
see, this is what I
We
just
got a
want to
good
say.
episode
When you
title.
say, what I talk about now, you are including Joe in that, right?
No.
Joe,
She's never
get
felt shame
real.
about me.
Get real, because I've heard you about the bleaching this and bleaching that. Get real.
Science.
This is science.
Medical
Yeah, I know.
science.
I don't even understand, but
Well, I can show you some research. and
I don't
it's
want to see
fascinating.
anything.
It's all
Believe
pictures.
me,
It's
I don't want to
selfies
see
on his fucking
anything.
phone, and no one wants to see it.
Believe me, I don't want to see that.
Okay.
Listeners, we're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, I think we should just get more into it. And by into it, I mean buttholes. Joe.
Oh, no.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
You're fun.
Thank you, Michael.
I like snow cones.
Well, great. What else do you like? Oh, no. I didn't want to ask.
Nap time.
Good. Well.
Playing with my friends.
Okay. That's all I need to know. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'll go back to hell now.
Do you like supporting, I don't know, up and coming podcast superstars?
I do, but I know I'm very controversial, and I don't want to put my support behind you if it'll hurt you. I love you and Laura. Thank
All
you
right.
so much, Michael.
right.
I appreciate it so much, but also I hate you and you're disgusting. Well, I understand that,
Yeah.
but I do love this podcast, Joseph.
But do you know?
How old are you about?
Well, too old for you. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? You know.
I know. I
Yeah. We have this great way. I think, Michael, honestly, I would accept your money. I'm not above it. If
I
Kim
love to
Jong-un wanted to contribute to this show,
I love to give.
That'd be
I'm a
great.
giver. There's nothing
All right.
more beautiful than sharing your bed with a child. There's nothing more beautiful. That's what the world needs.
Yes. So, for those of you who would like to contribute, maybe you want to be like Mike, you could contribute to this show via the website Patreon.
I just want to say,
yeah,
before you continue,
What?
we do not support Michael Jackson. Michael, I'm glad you showed up, from...
I'm not supporting him, but I'm accepting his
no one
money.
wants to be like Mike.
Okay. Well, I'm saying if you want to be like Mike,
Okay.
just visit patreon.com/heavyfriending and you can contribute.
Patreon.com. Heavy friending.
Shamon? All right. Who's bad?
Who's bad?
It's hard because
I'm
you're so catchy and people love your style.
I know.
It's so unique.
It's hard for me too. Really hard.
So if you visit
Especially hard.
if you visit that website, you can set a dollar amount. You got your paycheck. Look at it on Friday.
I
Say,
do
oh,
$10,000
whoa,
a month.
really?
Yes.
Your estate.
I do $10,000 a month.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Yes.
Well, that's not true. Unfortunately, the number is not even
Man, could you
close.
imagine though if he wasn't such a liar and he really did give us $10,000 a month?
Well, don't be rude.
His
He's
estate.
right here. He's.
Yeah, don't be rude, you stupid bitch.
Oh no! Wow.
Michael gets mad
All right.
sometimes.
I would say don't be like
Who's
Mike
bad?
because Mike isn't contributing. So if you want to be like Mike, you would
You would
not
suck.
contribute.
Yeah.
So you should not be like Mike
Exactly.
and give us money.
Also, just don't molest kids. Yeah.
Well, that shouldn't have to be said.
It shouldn't, but
And just visit
/heavyfriending.
patreon.com/heavyfriending and you can either be like Mike or not.
Hi, folks. We're back.
ooh, that was good.
Gosh.
That's good. We were kind of getting into it a little bit in the break here.
Yeah, we were.
And we want to get into it out of the break. Okay.
I'm with you.
Joe, what were you saying there?
I think I might have a mold problem, and I was curious if
No, not
bleach
that.
came in a smaller
Not that. The other thing.
container.
The other thing you said.
I don't recall.
I think he said,
Okay,
if I recall
thank you.
correctly, that some of his friends told him that they thought you, Laura Lee, were being mean to him on this podcast, and they
in
didn't
earlier
like it.
episodes.
In-
Your Honor.
In
In
earlier
earlier
episodes.
episodes. Okay.
And they neglected, I believe,
then
to say
I said-
anything about what he might be doing.
Right. And
Well, they're
you
my
also
friends.
mentioned though that Joe didn't correct them, right? So
I was talking generally about lying by omission.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what he did in that instance because he did not correct them about
Right,
what the
because-
true
Well, at the
nature.
time though, because we even talked about this on the show. I
Right.
didn't know what was real because I didn't know you.
but the second that
So
we
I
were
didn't
done
know
recording,
if she was Your Honor. I didn't know.
but the second we were done
Miss.
recording, if I was no longer mean, wouldn't that be an
So
indication?
wait a minute, though. Speaking of lying,
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
does that mean that your show is a lie?
That's
No.
what
And that you
I'm-
all are putting on
We
a
have
facade
said- we
when
have
you're
I'm
said-
recording?
authentic. We've said
We
I'm
have
authentic
said-
in every episode, and Laura lies.
No, we have said that we are heightened versions of ourselves, that we say things to be funny. Like a lot of the opinions that I express at times are exaggerated opinions of things. Oh, Michael. I appreciate the support. You know, I feel like when he does that, he's saying he agrees, right?
He might be just laughing about something he heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or something else.
Oh.
Anyway, this is old news.
I don't know if it's old news, though. I never heard you tell me that your friends thought I was mean to you.
No, I told you that before.
You told me
It was
that
like-
your friends thought that I liked you.
What?
We talked about it on the
I don't
podcast. Yeah,
remember
that there's
that.
something to my jokes. Like,
Oh, it's
Oh,
like
I
it's
did
like
tell you that, yeah.
being
Yeah.
mean to the girl you like.
no,
at the-
like just
on
when
the
I joke about
playground.
like, you know, like messing with him and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, exactly. I know.
They don't
so
get it.
do they get that this podcast isn't like 100%? It's jokey. It's a joke, right?
They think this is sort of like an encyclopedia where it's fact based.
All of it.
And it's not a humorous podcast.
Do they
Okay.
watch Fox News?
they love building that wall.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Well, that explains.
So wait, so Mom, as just a totally impartial listener, just as someone with no agenda at all, do you think that Joe's ever mean to me?
Interesting.
I think that Joe, not so much more recently, but in previous episodes, was really holding back and making you beg. That's what I
It's
gleaned
not really
from
mean.
the-
It's just,
You don't think that's mean
it's
to
just
be withholding?
manipulative.
Okay. See, and that's the difference. Is a real smart person can tell the difference between a joke and a manipulative asshole. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got
a
it.
smart
'cause
person
I
can.
could tell.
A smart person can tell that, right?
could tell.
And you could tell,
Yeah.
Your Honor.
Call your mother.
Your mother.
But I think the camaraderie is now a little bit different between you, obviously, because you've known each other longer. And I do believe now you are in a friendship.
We are.
Well, in my posture, I think we mentioned it.
Yeah, look at you. You're like, you are, you know what? I'll say something to you right now. I'll give you a compliment right now. You are James Dean on the scene right now.
He's
You're
very cool.
James Dean on the
Very
motherfucking
cool.
scene right now.
You know, there's something about being 30 years old where you're like,
You just don't
this
give a
is
shit
me.
anymore.
Yes.
That's it. It's like take it or leave it.
Look at my warts and all. And I'm covered in warts, and I need
Yeah,
to.
and he's had me feel a couple. See, does it feel weird? Does it look weird?
It's another
Yeah.
thing I
And-
need to talk to you about, Laura.
What?
Later.
Is she medically trained to give me advice on these things?
I've told him no.
I believe I've heard her say on this podcast that she's not a doctor.
Thank you. I
but
appreciate
she
that.
always says, but.
But
let me see.
My
Come here, let me
medical
see.
opinion is
I think that she thinks she
Let me
gets
get
it
my
through her
stethoscope.
sister, but I don't know.
Hey, I get some information through my sister. Somebody asked me the other day, "Hey, can you do this when you take this medicine or whatever?" And I said, they said, "Ask your sister." I said, "Oh, I can answer this one for you," and I did because I knew the answer. Only because I'd already asked my sister the same question, and the question was, "Can you drink when you take in an antibiotic?" And the answer is, no, you shouldn't. You shouldn't.
you
But
shouldn't
you
drink with a
can.
lot of
That's
medications.
Mm-hmm. Or you should. Sometimes it makes the effects of the alcohol much more intense. And for some people,
Yeah.
that's their goal.
Well, the key is to.
And that was Dr. Laura's Corner.
I like it.
Can I have a recurring thing? I'd love that.
I wonder if we
We
would
could
get
get in
into. I mean, you're a
trouble, yeah.
lawyer.
Yeah,
Is
tell
that a problem to say you're a doctor and give medical advice?
I think it's a problem to say you are licensed when you're not.
But if it's a parody, it is not against the law.
What about what if you're like the doctor of love? Can you give love advice?
Can you?
I'm just saying, if I had a blog, hypothetically, that was called Doctor of Love, and I gave love advice.
I think that you could if you were well versed in love.
Oh,
Well versed, and that's where you fall out of
That's
the
where you
running
fall
for that
short,
one.
I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well-
just before we started recording, you were saying how you need to get help from Laura about your dating, so I wouldn't know that you'd be qualified for that show.
yeah.
Just saying. Just a little comment there.
Man, you are really impressing me tonight, Mom. And I'm
just being truthful. See, I
I've
don't
always admired you,
lie
but-
by omission. I don't lie directly. I don't like that. It's not something that I
How would
approve
you
of.
like a direct lie? Like, Your Honor, I was not there when the body was found.
I just don't like lying. I don't like it.
Oh,
yeah.
interesting.
Well, Joe and I are friends now, and I think that's a great thing. But like everything is exaggerated, and it was exaggerated in the beginning, it is true that the podcast does reflect our true selves in a way. You know, it's like it's not fake. So the bickering has settled down a lot in recent months. There was a time when we would really get into some.
But I don't think you were ever really mean. I think
No, it
that
was
he
always
was
joking.
like.
His was more
speaking
real than
of-
mine. Mine was always exaggerated jokes, like "Oh, you're dumb" or whatever. You know.
He was like
but his was like, "I don't want to be your friend."
the brunt of your jokes. But
Yeah. But there's no one else here. Who else is going to be the brunt of my jokes? You know what I'm saying? Like, who else can I joke on?
You
here?
know what I think
He's the
saved
only one
us?
here.
And this is absolutely true.
Okay, what?
I think Build That Wall saved us. Because my go-to joke used to be, we're not friends.
No.
And then it became Build That Wall. And so every time, instead of
So do
saying,
your friends call you and say to you, Joe, why are you a racist bigot who wants to build a wall? Or did they figure out in their
thought that they
brains that
wanted
it
to build
was
a wall.
a joke?
No one talks to me anymore
Because of this podcast?
about the show or anything else. And so I don't know why.
That makes me happy. That
Wait,
means that
are
I'm
you being
becoming his
serious?
only friend.
Yes. But I will say, I got invited to lunch today
Oh.
with coworkers. And it was like a big group, and I was invited.
That's very nice.
But not everybody was invited, which made me feel bad.
Yeah, like now you're one of the cool kids.
Because
and
I
you're
was like,
leaving
well,
out others.
I don't want to. It's not my thing to invite other people to. So I'm just like grabbing my coat at lunch, and they're like, "Are you coming?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I guess we're cool. I'm cool." And
Yeah.
So wait, I want to ask a question, may I? Are you saying that the friends that you had since listening to the podcast have ceased to be your friends or communicate with you?
no, this is my problem with friends is I don't think I'm not good at communicating with them.
So you're the type of friend that people have to seek you out and prod you a little
Nail
bit.
on the head.
Not necessarily.
Nail on the head.
If I was, if I have a friend who lives in Houston and then I go to Houston, I would reach out to that friend and say, well, we should grab some thing. But generally I wouldn't just reach out unless it's, a birthday for a close friend or a.
So you don't really keep in touch.
It's not like I know their day-to-day things, but.
Well, sometimes good friends you don't have to do that with because you can just pick up where you left off, especially if you have a long-term friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can finish each other's.
Sentences.
Wow. Wow.
That says a lot.
It says so much. I was looking for sandwiches, but thank you.
So I think I have a lot of those friendships, if I had other friendships, they would have died. They just
So
died.
knowing me and what I want out of our friendship, and if we lived farther apart, is it further or farther? Can we?
I think it's a potato.
No,
potato.
it's farther apart because
Farther.
FARTHER is the distance,
Okay.
FART.
And what's further then?
not the distance.
Wait, it's two different words?
It is.
Yeah.
FURTHER.
further, and then farther.
Furthermore,
And then there's a
further.
word called father, and then it's like, there's so many
farter.
words. Yeah, there's so many words.
I'm a farter.
I am a farter, Your Honor.
See, there you go.
He said it.
Well, but she
first.
said it more
just saying.
with flourish.
No,
Just
so if I
pointing it
lived
out.
far away,
Farther
would you,
away.
knowing that I seek, attention, validation?
You do?
I mean, a little bit. I want here's what it is. I ain't doing no one-sided fucking friendship. That pisses me off. I'm in friendships
As it
with people
should.
where they text me, "Hey, how you doing?" And I text them back, and then I text them, "Hey, how you doing?"
Okay, wait. That just reminded me. I want to bring something up.
Okay.
Kind of a little off, but not.
You just go for it,
I'm just going to do my thing.
but into the
Because
microphone.
I read on the internet that calling someone without letting them know first that you're going to call them is impolite, and it's not something that you should do. What the hell
But
is that?
to clarify this, she saw like a meme.
No,
that
it was an
said-
article.
Yeah, but you
article.
sent us that picture, Rachel and I.
Yeah, but it was from an article. It was a lengthy article about like 7 things that you should not do in our now electronic world. And one of them was not texting someone first to set a time when you can call them.
With friends?
A cold call is not the way you're supposed to do anything. Yes. And I
Not
was
with
looking at that
friends
going,
or family.
"What?"
You can call friends and family.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought. But I thought that article was very weird. And when would you ever talk to anyone? Although I did agree with part of the article how people are where like you don't want people to come to your house unannounced.
Yeah, my house is
Yeah.
never ready for company.
You know.
There's a lot.
But if
lot of
it
stuff.
were a friend showing up, why should it be ready? It should just be your
Well,
house.
I don't
he
want
means
people
it
to
may
come
not
into my
be-
house if it's dirty.
Yeah, he's meaning like there's,
like mold on the
There's
windows that
mold.
you haven't cleaned up.
Yeah, there's
Well,
mold.
actually, maybe it would be helpful if people came because then they would say, "Is that mold on your windows?"
Yeah.
Really?
And I'd
I think
say,
you do need some
Hey,
help
see that
there.
black stuff there? Is that supposed to be there?
I thought it came with the place.
But it's true because, people did used to go to other people's homes.
I think
a
that's
lot
crazy.
more. Like when we were growing up, somebody, I can remember people just stopping by after church. Like people went to church and they just stopped by to say hello. And they came with their family. Just, they didn't stay long, but it was just a little visit or, maybe they had some coffee.
How scary is that? Back then, you
scary.
had to always be ready for
Yeah.
anything. Like,
Well, that's why
That's why that comedian was saying, he had the Entenmann's, the mom always had the little Entenmann's and the special coffee because people dropped by. People literally did drop by.
when I get a knock on my door, I freeze. I don't move.
It's
when I get a knock
fine.
on my door, I come out angry. Like I'm open that door. Like, who the fuck do you think you are?
Well, because
I
it
won't
is
answer
scary
the door.
now.
I just don't.
I don't
to put
answer the
your
door if I'm
foot-
by myself
You have
and
to
I
put
don't
your
know who
foot
it
up
is.
at the door. With the way how you put your foot to block the door, like where it's impossible to move it. It's like a door jam with your foot. You got to do that. You got to look around the corner. Like you have to be. You have
You
to
have a peephole? Do you have a peephole here?
Yeah, I do.
But I
And
don't think
use it.
I think in this day and age, I don't think that you should answer the door for people that you
Well,
don't
sometimes
know.
it's delivery men. I got to sign for a thing, or I get a lot of flower deliveries these days.
really?
And so, yeah, you gotta get your flowers and whatnot. So it's just.
But that's still
when you have a lot of friends, you get a lot.
when
of
you
gifts.
communicate with them and keep in touch with them.
Here's the deal: is a
You know
friendship
what I did?
is hard work.
I sent a bunch of postcards to friends.
I think that's good.
That's great.
Yeah.
That is
I guess
good. That's-
maybe mine probably got like lost somewhere or something. It's probably, but I think the male people, they're always like going through my stuff, and so
And I want to say something else that now that I have the mic, this is
Yeah.
great because there's things I've heard on your podcast that I just have to address.
I think
Okay.
you're good.
This
good.
is wonderful because I'm listening to the podcast and I'm listening to my daughter, Laura Lee, over
Yes.
there, admit that she mumbles.
no, but that was a
Wait a
purposeful
minute.
mumble.
No.
what I just
not
did.
then. Not then. I'm
Okay.
saying in previous podcasts you have
Okay.
admitted that you tend to mumble,
I
and
just
you've
talk
done
really
that
fast.
twice.
I'm
You've done
liking
that
this
twice.
line of questioning. This is good.
However, when I am with Laura, and I don't have problems hearing other people, but I have problems understanding Laura a lot, and she gets mad.
Well, I
at
got
me.
a couple questions for you then, ma'am.
Defensive.
You've been knowing me my whole life.
a little aggressive.
Why is it that you can't understand me? Okay, and this guy here can, and that guy upstairs can. Why can't you understand
You have
me?
said yourself that you mumble and that people can't
I
understand.
think
you.
that you can't hear sometimes.
That
and I love
I am
you,
telling
but I
you,
want you
I am
know,
telling
this
you
is
that
what I
love
that
this.
may be
I
true
love what's
sometimes.
happening.
However, I have the worst problem
And I
with
don't get-
you.
but
and
this
the
is the
only
thing, though, I
reason I
never
bring
get
it
mad.
up,
I
may
never
I
get-
finish? The only reason I bring it up is because I was like sitting there listening to the podcast going, oh my God, she's admitting it. She's admitting it right now.
I have
But Mom-
recorded evidence.
But I
of
have
what-
to
of
say,
what
I
she
do want to
said.
say this though.
Yes.
I never get mad at you when I have to repeat myself. That is not
Mm-hmm.
the thing. I say, I ask you as your daughter, I ask, have you had your hearing checked? Like, I want you to, I'm not like, get yours checked. I'm like, hey, have you had your hearing checked
No,
lately? Because I do get worried that you can't hear stuff.
Well,
because a lot
Well,
of
what
times.
she can't hear is your mumbling mouth.
Thank
I
you.
mean, that's the
Thank
problem.
do you
Joe.
see this brown
Thank you,
noser?
Joe.
He's good
Oh
with
no!
parents.
I'm just happy
He's
that
good
the
with
tables
parents.
have turned, and now you feel the fire.
I've
How
been
do you like
feeling,
the
I've been
fire?
feeling the
You like
fire.
the
Trust
fire?
me, I've been feeling the fire for quite some time.
Just a little point I wanted to bring up.
She had to, and she
Anything
should.
else?
Validated me.
It
Anything
validated.
else you want to bring up? What about Joe? How he hates our fucking Jewish cookies?
Well,
Hey,
this
let
is-
me just
oh.
tell you, I
How
was
about that?
surprised at that. But
Yeah.
you would really have to be a person that had like exquisite
taste.
taste
Yes.
to
Yes.
really like those cookies
Hold
because
on.
they're
Yeah.
supreme.
Yeah. Hold
and
on.
really, you have to have good taste.
You
to
have
like
to have
those.
good taste.
Special
you have to
K?
be sophisticated.
Yes. Oh,
Special
now
K,
he's pissed.
please.
I'm not mom
Special-
anymore.
Okay.
And we're
Did
talking about cookies.
Did you try the batch that we made for the Christmas episode?
No.
What was that? That was
Did you
over
make
year
a
ago.
poor
Yeah.
batch of
Well,
cookies?
that was my argument that it didn't seem.
Well, let me put it to you this way. We were had microphones up in our faces and I'm trying to make the thing. So it may not have been the ultimate Jewish cookie of all time, but I'm going to tell you right now, it tasted great. Okay?
It wasn't
You
the,
did like
It
it?
could have had a little more jelly maybe. But
Oh,
it tasted
was it dry?
great. It wasn't
Because
dry.
I'm telling
It
you, I
wasn't
can't
dry.
eat them if they're dry.
It
Laura.
wasn't dry.
You can't.
I thought you said it
can't.
was supposed to be sweeter.
No, it wasn't dry. It could have maybe had a little more jelly, but it was good. It was
Okay,
good.
so you're telling me they weren't authentic.
No, they were authentic. I used all of the recipe. They were great. They were really good. They were like what a Jewish cookie tastes like. You would have tasted it. And you
From
said
what
this
I
is good.
recall, too, I think I also was like, well, this doesn't feel like a cookie to me. And I think if it was presented as
See.
like something else, it just didn't seem that sweet.
That was interesting because
Yeah.
you said that in a previous episode. I'd like to know what it presented itself as.
I don't remember. I don't really remember. I just remember I was like, I don't think it. I probably said it was bad.
But what would it be?
Yeah,
I guess what I'm asking is, what would it be if it weren't?
more like
not a cookie.
more like a sweetbread or
Okay, I'm perplexed, but
Thank you. Every day.
I would love to try your version of
okay,
the Jewish.
I'll make some
cookies.
for you. Then we can decide. And then
Okay,
if you
that
don't
sounds
like
good.
them, then we know.
Well, and
That sounds good.
I'm more likely to pretend I like them for round 2.
Oh, so
Yeah.
again, lies.
Lying.
Lies.
Well, lying gets
Why-
you out of stuff, and you know this.
Right.
It's easier to get by with a lie
Do you lie all the time?
all the time. No,
You lie a lot?
no.
You had to think about it.
Have you
there.
ever lied to me, Joe?
Probably.
Yes, I'm sure he
You've
has.
lied to me?
But it was probably not anything.
I have
Serious.
never lied to you.
Okay.
That's the truth. I don't lie to people. I don't need to. Look at me. I talk about everything. I talk about everything. I say everything. I tell you when I have gas.
See, here we go again.
I'm just
Unprompted.
I'm just telling you. I tell everything. I'm an open book.
So
You
here's the
said it.
question: because you've said both, the shirt is nice that I'm wearing, and you've also said it's not a good shirt.
I like the shirt.
Okay.
Genuinely.
So
I
one
said
of
it to you
those was
off
a
mic.
lie, and she said
One of them
she
was
never
a joke.
lies.
One of them
No.
was a joke. See?
Excuse me.
Thank you,
You're
Your
raising
Honor.
your hands over there, Joe, but one was a joke and one wasn't.
Thank
Get
you,
with
Your
the
Honor.
program.
Sustained.
But I never
Overruled,
lie.
Joe.
If jokes are not lies, then I never lie
Overruled.
because I joke.
well,
I was joking about the
It's
shirt.
a joke when I'm telling
But-
a lie. It's funny to me to lie.
I think we probably all have our little white lies.
Yes.
Obviously, you don't want to hurt somebody's
I-
feeling.
no,
but when
those
I'm saying
aren't
I
my
don't like
underwear.
the lies, I don't like the lies about stuff that is important.
No,
that
I
means
don't.
something
I don't lie about
that
important
changes history.
Is your name even Joe Barlow? I mean, I don't even know. What is your real name even?
That's my real name.
And what about
my
Donal?
first name is Joseph.
Is your dad's name even Donal?
That you think
And
that
is
would
your
be his
mom's
fake name?
even?
You think that would be something he'd lie about? I
Yeah.
mean, I think he's
Is your
lying about
mom's
more
name-
important things.
Yeah.
like he's probably
That's
married
just-
with a kid or
that's-
something. That's why he never wants anyone to stop by his house.
And that's why he was suspected of murder right there.
Yeah, a liar.
A liar.
It is funny that it's out there that I'm suspected of murder.
I mean, Rachel tells it different. The way Rachel tells it, it's like, you know how she gets all excited
Yeah.
and she's like, I don't fucking care. I don't care who he is. I told Angie, you better get to the house and don't let Joe Barlow go anywhere near there. That motherfucker hurt my sister. And she really
was
thought
very
it.
She was so
concerned.
like fine with me. Like she was really
Well, she was trying to
hiding
get the information, yeah.
Yeah, she was playing it cool with me, but that's so funny that behind the scenes
Well,
she was like,
Love you,
can't-
Rach.
Yes, she was worried, and at least she took action.
Yeah. And Mom, I love you too. You've been a great guest.
Thank you.
I mean, I feel like we
you really stirred the pot.
you
Did
did.
I?
And this goes back to the retweet. You only retweet my good tweets. You went after me,
I'm not gonna-
but you
yeah.
also went after your own flesh and blood
I
when
love
she
her,
was
yeah,
wrong on
but-
the whole butthole stuff.
Yeah, and you know what? I'll say this: she didn't tell some stories that I was worried that she may bring up.
Oh.
Well, there's
We'll do
we
that.
could do another episode later.
I'm
There
glad
has
she
to be
didn't.
some decorum on the show, and I'm glad
Yeah.
I brought it.
Yeah, there's one story in
We
particular
needed
that.
a lawyer's presence.
You almost act like you want me to tell that story.
No, I was going to say because Rachel would laugh because she knows what
Rachel
I'm talking
knows
about.
what it is, so she can laugh now.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah. Good.
I'm a nice mom.
You are. You're the best mom. I love you so
Thank you.
much.
You're
Love
nice.
you too.
Thank you, Mom.
There you go.
You're welcome.
Love it.
Thanks for having me. It's really an interesting situation to be here and to have a mic and to have a platform. Actually,
Sometimes I think
I
it's
found
helpful to have a
myself-
witness to her behavior towards
well,
me,
that's
too.
true too. But I did find myself wanting to like bogart the show and say whatever I wanted to say,
Yeah.
just because that microphone was there.
Yeah.
Isn't that
Did you even
weird?
feel
It's
like you wanted to
intoxicating.
I was
just be silly a
empowered.
little bit or an exaggerated version of what you would usually do?
Maybe, but I was more empowered. Let me say that,
Okay.
like that, I had a voice now.
Well, you've always had
And
a
you've
voice.
used it.
Oh, man.
Okay, whoa.
Was
what
that
a-
mean?
The way you said it.
Yes,
yeah.
that
Oh,
was.
I thought I was saying it in a like
Wow.
a women sort of like, I'm glad women
you
are
were
speaking out.
Yeah. Look at his
I
face
know,
saying
I
that.
know.
Like, oh my God, I'm
typical.
sorry that we're alive and breathing.
White, cisgendered,
Yeah,
heterosexual
and just what I said
man.
today: white privilege,
See, is
white
this a
male
joke?
White
privilege.
male
Is this a joke or is it a lie?
This is a joke. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you on the next episode. Tell them bye, Mom.
Bye, everyone. Listen to Heavy Friending, you guys, and get on Patreon.
Whoa.
You were so good at this.
We have
come
a
on.
third co-host.
Super heavy friending.
Friendly.
Friendly.
That was good. It's
I think
nice.
the question now is, are you my friend, Joe?
Yeah, that is a good question. I think so. We've hung out enough, probably.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think if I'm like following you on Twitter and I'm giving you some
Are you
retweets-
following her back?
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
On Twitter? I think so.
He doesn't.
Wait, don't let him get to his phone first, Mom.
No, put it down, Joe.
Well, maybe. I don't know.
No, Laura, get
I'm
on.
not going to do it.
You'll get a notification if he follows you right now.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I wonder if he is. What if he isn't? Wouldn't that be just a kicker, wouldn't it? Wow, wants me to retweet him. How do I find him though?
Oh,
Here's my Twitter, Laura.
It's
Okay.
Special K.
All right, I'm looking.
If he is not following me, that
He
is
may
going to
not
be
be.
something. Again,
Why doesn't it let you search on here?
I don't know.
There's no way of knowing, so.
Joe, are you following her?
If you go to followers, can you search?
Yeah, well, usually you can search, but I can't search on here.
Dude.
Mom, you have a private message.
I do.
Can I look at it?
No, people are always saying stuff.
She lets me look at her text sometimes.
Did you just get a notification?
It just says it in there. I can't tell. Oh, wait. If you go to their page, does it say if they're following you? Joe, here it is. Here's the answer. Mr. Joe Barlow follows you.
Okay, Joe, that was
just clicked
close.
follow.
You did?
You dog.
He wasn't following you.
Oh my God, you are a slime ball.
I told you the
Little
truth.
shithead.
I
Oh
thought
my God.
Shithead.
He wanted all the accolades. He wanted
I
the
shoulda
retweets.
lied.
He
I shoulda
wanted the
lied.
little clicks, but yet he didn't have enough gumption to follow me. That says it all.
Goodbye.
should have lied.
Your word is mine.